Okay, I'm rolling on this. Not that that matters. The fucking sink is gonna be way the fuck off anyway.
Oh yeah, let's do a clap. Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't clap because I only have one hand.
2, 3. Perfect. Hello, fellow travelers. I'm Luca Fiore,
I'm Craig Conoley.
I'm Ben Walker.
and we are staying the fuck home while watching Children of Hens. Children of Hens. There's a lot of animals in this movie. Children of Men. Children of Men. Directed by Alfonso Cuarón. It's got Julianne Moore. It's got Clive Owen. It's got geez, this is not in order of importance.
What's that Elfador Chief guy? Chief Elfadorfi or whatever.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah, that's the guy.
I think you got it. I think you nailed it.
Why don't you just give up and go home? I mean, come on.
I am home.
Yeah.
I am home.
Me too.
It's got Julianne Moore. It's got Michael Caine. It's got a bunch of great people. It's shot by Emmanuel Lubezki. What is it?
Lubezki.
Emmanuel Lubezki. It came out quite a few years ago. Craig, we got the band back together for this. This is the OG crew. Craig, why did you want to do this movie?
Well, I feel like it's on the nose of what's, we're a little bit of what's going on. Mirrors are, films are like mirrors, and they kind of reflect back what's going on, and we project ourselves into them and what's going on. And when they're made at a certain time in history. And I know when I talked to you, I was like, hey man, like science fiction films like have a history of kind of being magic balls, like predicting the future a little bit. And the term for it, I think it's like techno prophecy or something. Like there's an actual like word for it. And so, like 2001 Space Odyssey had FaceTime in it before FaceTime. And now we're doing like what that scene in 2001, like so there's these films that come out and then do these things and they're imaginary, but then like a decade later you're like, whoa, so I feel like this film kind of fits into that vein.
Hold on, I gotta feed the video meter, guys. Clink. Okay, carry on. I have more credit. I'm good.
I think about a movie and I think about what you're saying. I think about movies like this and I think like, man, am I happy that's not how it is. Man, do they have it way worse than me? While on this little quarantine break, I also watched Contagion, and I can only think like, wow, this is easy comparatively. It's like no problem. We're in such a lax sort of state right now comparatively. It's I hear what you're saying, Craig, about how like art imitates life, right?
Yeah.
But dude, this is rough. This is a rough movie. It's a rough movie to watch. It's a depressing sort of outlook, very bleak, no hope for the future sort of look on it. And well, I'll just go ahead and say my opinion right off the bat that this movie's incredible. It's stupendously shot.
Yeah.
Pretty well acted.
Yeah.
Sound design, blocking, set decoration.
Yeah, production design.
Even VFX, really on point for the movie as well. Just like it's a world champ of a film. I don't know what awards it won, but it deserved a lot of awards.
I think so. Ben, what's your take on the film?
Well, I agree with all of those things that Luca said, but I have a few major problems with the film. And so he did Roma.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that?
Yeah,
I did.
So I don't want to make this like a Roma review, but like honestly, I felt that that Children of Men had was all style and no substance. I felt that, and I was speaking with Rachel about this after we watched it, and it was like, the female perspective is so lacking in this film. I thought it was such a huge blight because they're talking about this main crux of this problem of like missing fertility and that changing everyone's motivation to do anything.
And maybe
then,
the lead shouldn't have been Clive Owen, but should have been maybe Julianne Moore's character, and that she should have been maybe helping this woman out, who's like this like refugee lost in somewhere in England, trying to like just save her baby.
Yeah, I think, Ben, like if it was directed by a female director, I think it would have been a very different film. And Luca, that probably would have been a consideration, And then that kind of seems that opens up a conversation about like, can a man direct a film like this and get it right, with that kind of theme?
Without getting too much into it, Ben, did you like Roma?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Just
I really did.
For perspective there.
Yeah. And so like I think the book is called, The Children of Men, right? Written by P.D. James.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll look that up real quick.
I think
so she wrote the book, and like in the book it has more, it's written by a woman, it's got more religious undertones to it. And I mean, that's cool. Like he changed those things. And in the book, it's actually Julianne Moore's character that gets pregnant. So I'm not sure how that happens because I didn't read the book. This is just me like doing a little post-film analysis on the interwebs.
Yeah.
But so they changed that, and that's okay. And then another thing that they added into the movie that isn't in the book is the human project.
Well, it's just barely touched upon at the end of the film where, what's her name there gets saved.
Right.
Well, right. I mean, that's what you think might be happening, right? Because it ends. And like, that was like the ending of the film. I was just, there were so many points where I was disappointed in. Yeah, like, so like the acting was good. Yes, the acting was great. But
it's missing something. It's missing that feminine energy, man. And I hate to say that, but because I'm a man.
Is that what it is? I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's missing feminine energy. I just feel like it's missing some like truth or something, like I felt that
a lot of action sequences,
yeah, the action is awesome,
killer action, but
the lighting is wicked. Can
we talk about lighting? Could we shift? Sure. Sorry to cut you off, man. Keep going.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. Because the lighting.
Somebody's got to edit this, and it's not me. Ha.
Yeah. So okay, let's get into lighting. Let's get into cinematography. Let's get into all of that.
Okay.
This movie is very much groundbreaking in the way it was shot. Not even just the way realistic lighting sort of kind of gets. It's impressive how realistic it all seems and how the camera moves through a very long sequence, and they'll like go for many minutes through many very action-packed sort of like feeling moments, keep you involved with it. It's super groundbreaking. There's great behind the scenes of that whole car chase sequence where the rig of that is very complex. Like
it's a wonder.
It seems like it's just in the car chase sequence where Julianne Moore's character gets it. The camera is like built like the car is not a car. It's like a shell of a vehicle on like I don't know how to describe it. Maybe I'll just cut to behind the scenes footage right now as I'm doing this. But like it's an amazing sort of feat of like VFX and like practical effects all mixed into one.
I think it's one of the greatest wonders. I think it's considered one of the greatest one takes.
It's incredible. It's incredible. I think about a movie like this, and I think about other one-take heavy movies like Birdman, like 1917, and like Roma as well. Roma had some long takes to it as well. And I feel like this is how to do these sorts of movies. To try to keep that one take going for the entirety of a 2-hour something film is, to me, exhausting and very challenging as a viewer to watch.
Yeah.
I felt the thrill ride, edge of my seat moments that like I feel like I need to feel in these one take movies or these one take scenes without the fatigue by the end of it. I'm like just drained after watching a movie like Birdman or 1917. Just completely like obliterated, so tired. But watching this, I'm like, I need that edit, something to cut to. So give me that edit. Just give me a break here. I'm trying to enjoy your movie, not just like I gotta go home and
it's less gimmicky.
not stress about this too much.
Yeah, it breathes with the editing better for sure. It's intermittent, right?
What did you guys want to say specifically about the lighting though? Like there's the camera work, incredible, super amazing. Yes.
Ben, do you want to go? Because I know you first brought that up. If you want to.
No, you go for it, Craig. You go.
When I watched it, I noticed use of color in the lighting. So what I picked up on was
shooting through glass.
Yeah. And also the use of yellow, and how yellow seemed to be a symbol for life and like the non-oppressed and things that were like the first time we see yellow is when he meets Jasper, and
Michael Caine, right? And the place is so like golden almost. Yeah,
he comes out of the center, which is like the city, and it's dark and gross and mucky and blue, and then he meets Jasper, and there's like sunlight, and his car's yellow, his old car's yellow, and then his cannabis operation is yellow, and he's got yellow lights in his house in the woods, and then the female character that's pregnant, her dress is yellow, so it's like there's a color story going on.
And Julianne Moore, when they first meet her character, she's got like this interrogation light, bright yellow as well. You might have something on that, Craig, for sure. Yeah, I didn't notice the color thing for it, but like, yeah, like I should look for stuff like that, you know.
So that's the one thing I noticed with the lighting, with the yellow.
Super cool. Yeah. Do you guys think that Emmanuel Lubezki? Do you think he's a one-trick pony?
Well, Terrence Malick likes him.
It is to say that like he is, in my opinion, the man. But the style of his, he's famous for these one long shots. He's famous for making movies with the camera just free flowing like this. Are we just in a phase? Are we just gonna look at movies like this and think that was so 2015 to 2020, you know, we want lots and lots of cuts now, and then he's out of work, and you know we're no longer interested in Emmanuel.
Ben, what lens do you think he's using most of the time?
Oh man, I have no idea.
Something wide, but not too tight, but not too wide.
Because it's kind of feels like
24 mil.
I'm gonna Google this right now.
Because I think he's like, it's floaty, right? So it feels natural, but it's not natural. It feels natural because it's wide, and it's like your optical, it's like how you see, but it's also like on a Steadicam most of the time. So you're getting like a mix of your field of view is natural, but it's hovering angelic like. And I think that's his thing. And I know on Terrence Malick's films, Terrence Malick shoots like 360 environments where there's like no video village, there's no people behind. He tries to use natural light.
I feel like if you can afford to do something like that, then awesome.
But he also recreates, like, he'll take a house like in Tree of Life, and he recreates that house in a studio, and he also shoots outside to get the natural light. So I don't know what the production design in Children of Men is incredible. I don't know if they went to the same degree, but
dude, when I watch Children of Men, I always find myself surprised by just what's in the frame. Like, they round a corner and there's a fucking chicken at the top of the stairs, and they go into this like house, and there's like a bunch of goats, and there's like this like these wacky, like, when they get into that refugee camp, all hell breaks loose. It's like that production designer being like, whatever I got, just throw it in. This is a madhouse, and like, it just feels like absolute bonkers. You just don't expect to see things, and they're there, and just they did such a good job in that specific like sequence. I love that so much.
Did you notice the Banksy?
No, I didn't.
You know what? I might have the first time I watched it, whatever that was, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Where was it?
You know, the corporate headquarters, like the guy who's kind of the Steve Jobs in the like, he goes and visits the Bill Gates character, the corporate,
his rich friend.
Yeah, to get the passes. In the lobby of his place, there's a Banksy that's been cut out of a wall, and it's now a piece of art in his house. And as you watch, as they go from room to room, you notice that this guy's an art collector, but he represents capitalism, hyper-capitalism. He represents the baddies, right? And then you get up to his dinner table with his son, who's like using the tech, and he's
snacking on pills.
Yeah, which is a statement. And then there's a giant pig balloon floating in the windows behind him.
A little too on the nose?
No, I think that's an act of protest. I think that's like
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought.
I thought that was just an art piece that is famous that I just don't know about. But that's an interesting.
I think that's Peter Frampton did that for like a live concert a bunch, and then Homer Simpson like fucked with his pig or something like that. That was an episode of The Simpsons.
No.
Anyway, guys.
So
okay, but hey, can we just talk about the man in the tower for a minute?
Sure.
Because this was another thing that really bugged me about the movie. Okay, what the fuck is going on? All right, everybody is fighting everybody. The resistance is fighting, like, it doesn't make any sense. And the one guy that needs to get fucked up is the guy that he goes to ask for the passes. And that one line, and like, this was where I thought the acting was not great. I'll tell you in a sec. This is where I thought the acting was not great, and where I thought the direction was lacking, and where the cinematography could have been way darker, could have been brought way more mood. I mean, you brought up the yellow and the blue, and maybe that had something to do with it. But, I
thought it looked bleak
Clive's
in there.
Character. Pardon?
I thought it looked bleak in there.
Black.
Yeah, sure, yeah, it was kind of sterile for sure. But like, Clive's character says to him, like, how do you deal with all of this?
Yeah.
And the guy says, I just shut it out of my mind. Or what was the line? You guys just watched.
Think about it.
I wrote it down, man. Ben, I wrote it down. I actually picked up on that line. He says, I just don't think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, that line is it's really good, but I feel like in the context of like him going to ask for the favor and like all this fucking, it's basically, you know what it was like when I'm watching it, I'm looking at the Pablo Picasso back there. I'm like, this is like the Nazis stealing art from, wherever, right? It is. It's like
you're right. The rest of the world is kind of falling apart, and like England's just like stealing it all again.
Well, I wonder
yeah,
what
so I'm like,
I wonder what Trump has hanging in the Oval Office.
A golden toilet.
a picture of himself is what he's got. But
With a raging erection.
With
Yeah.
a toupee on it.
and a little beard, a little chin strap there. But so, you know, like that was,
Yeah.
I felt like, I don't know, I felt like there was a lot of, you know, it's hard when you're making a movie, right? Especially something of such a scope like this, to see every single thing, you know? But I really felt like that was a lost opportunity for like him to dive a little bit deeper into, you know, what is actually going on in the world at this moment, you know? And
You know,
it was
one
almost
thing
like,
I gotta say, I kind of
I don't want to think
disagree.
about it. It was almost like the director, like, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about why this is all actually happening. We're just gonna.
But it made you mad, right? Like you don't like what you saw. Maybe that was the intention. Maybe it's about toxic masculinity. Maybe it's about that. Maybe it's about like that not giving a shit, you know? I don't know. Maybe it worked.
Like I gotta disagree, Ben, because I'm biased in this way, but I always love movies that do this to me, that put me right into the middle of a story and maybe don't explain everything. But like I was able, to be perfectly honest, kind of fill the gaps as the story was going on. Like, okay, we've got Clive Owen. He lost his kid. And he was okay. Now we know he was kind of a rebel rouser. He was an anarchist in his youth, but has kind of subsided. We know this about him. I feel like I know whatever I need to know about these people, and it kind of made me think: was there moments in the movie that are just wasted, like completely? I didn't need to see this. Ben, it sounds like you think that whole sequence maybe didn't even need to be there. I'm not sure.
With the man in the tower.
The rich guy. Yeah.
I just think that the approach that it took was just a little wrong. I don't know. Like I'm with you, man. I don't want to know everything. Like I can watch a movie that nothing happens. It's just characters saying shit to each other and things happening, you know. And I don't know. Like I maybe I need to do a bigger breakdown analysis of this thing for real, because you know it was, yeah, maybe it just comes down to the characters and the character development. There was just always something lacking. None of the scenes, even the action ones, like I'm not a huge action guy, but even the action scenes, I mean, I didn't feel that characters were developing throughout the movie, really. Like the one moment where Clive's character gets an opportunity to kind of shine, and it's when, you know, and this is, I thought, kind of gratuitous too, where like the woman takes off her dress and she reveals like her body and she's got this belly, and it was like that, like they did a couple different variations on the shot, like where she was holding her breasts and she wasn't, and then, but I was like, oh, this is pure male gaze right here, like, and it was lacking in, you know, Rachel said it was lacking in like in the magic of life, and I'm like, yeah, and I don't know, I don't ask me what it could be to make it more magical of life, but I just know that I was missing that really
Emotional.
terribly.
Yeah, the emotional connection to it, right?
You know, and like, yeah, that shot of Clive, like this transformation is just like, he's just like,
maybe he's a shitty actor. Maybe he's no good.
I don't know.
I do find, maybe I agree somewhat then, for me it comes from his shift from a minorly cowardly sort of character who is in fact just doing it for some money, to, in an instant, he is 100% in. He's going to go to this place. He's going to just do whatever it takes, probably die. He doesn't care anymore. He's got to take care of this kid. I don't know what you can do in, and again, this movie, surprisingly, this movie's like an hour 40 something. And I don't know what you can do in that kind of timeline to maybe like develop the character a little bit further, to go from a little bit cowardly to, yes, I'm going to save this person. Maybe they did it by telling you again and again and again that he used to be this, you know, anarchist person. I don't know, but it was a big shift. Real quick, guys, Clive Owen spent a lot of his time without shoes on in this movie, right? So if this was replaced by John McClane in Die Hard, do you think that John McClane would have got shit done? He would have been like, you know, he's going to save the baby, he's going to save the girl, he's going to go home, probably going to fuck his wife after his wife maybe cheated on him. Who knows? But like, he's going to do. Maybe if this was in America and not in England, it would have starred John McClane.
Well, I do think the film is as bleak as the place it's set in. I'm sorry to say. And if you go back to the character development, as you were talking, I was thinking about, well, in storytelling, right, it's about reversals, right? Like, it's about the positive, negative, like, in a scene. And from the beginning of the movie to the end, right? Characters have to start somewhere and end somewhere different. Does that happen? Because it starts with him in a cafe. He doesn't give a shit what's on the TV. He's just buying that coffee, right? He's unaffected. Yeah. He's broken. He's a broken guy. At the end of the movie, he's in a boat with a woman, and he's still kind of the same dude. No?
He definitely changed, I felt. It's just that I don't know. I couldn't tell you how it happened. I mean, I could tell you that like he saw a baby and that was like a life-changing thing for him. But like, it just almost weirdly didn't seem that believable coming from Clive, that like it just kind of shifted like that. Yeah. Maybe it was an actor fault. Maybe like another actor could have emoted so much so that it's like you understood that he's not just, you know, a cowardly person, that he's forever changed, having seen a pregnant woman, the first pregnant woman that he's seen in 18 years. It's enough to change you, but maybe it was an actor problem. Maybe another actor could have done it.
I think it gets to what Ben's saying. It's, you know, but the lack of zhuzh.
Yeah, I don't think it was an actor problem. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like he was not set up properly for that, you know? And you know, it's like, when was this movie made again? It's been a while, right?
2007?
You want me to look it up?
1 second. It was 2006.
So yeah, so I mean, whatever, 14 years is a while, but like, you know, it was, you know, he does have all this backstory, right, of with his kids and his relationship with Julian and all that, but I don't know, maybe it was just the way that it was delivered, you know, that I had an issue with.
Like, as you say these things out loud, Ben, I'm realizing all of the pieces are there. All the pieces are there for us to, you know, empathize with this lead character. And I'm thinking more and more about it. I'm thinking, you know, maybe it's just Clive. Maybe Clive was the problem, because like, we know he lost a child. We know he now lost his ex-wife, who was like, clearly maybe they were still in love and they were going to maybe actually start to maybe work things out a little bit better.
Like John McClane.
And we know that, like, you know, just like John McClane, maybe Guys, maybe this is a weird version of Die Hard that we just watched. She like the building's coming down and he like comes rushing down but this time he's got a baby, he's got no shoes on, so and it takes place during Christmas.
Yeah,
it doesn't, but I think it'd be funny if it did. I wanted to pose a question to you guys. It's just I'm more just percolating on this idea as I was like washing dishes today. And I was thinking about the notion of Clive Owen's character witnessing things. And I want to remind you of the conversation that is had with Michael Caine. It's a little bit of exposition, and Michael Caine basically explained Clive Owen's backstory of like, you know, one day, you know, Clive Owen lost his kid because there was a flu that went around, and you know, his kid died, and that was it. And he explains something to the degree of his faith, his chance beat his faith, or something like that. And then I think about Clive's character throughout the story of him witnessing all of these moments, that's like all these horrific moments that's happening all around him. A cafe explodes. He witnesses that. He sees the first child in 18 years. He watches his father die. He witnesses all of these things happen. He witnesses the birth of this child. And the only thing that he's not there for is the most unbelievable thing, which is a boat coming to fucking save this woman. He dies before that. I just kind of wanted to pose a question to you. Is like, what do you think? Does this mean anything to you guys? I'm not sure if like I'm kind of grasping at straws. It's like, what does it mean to like be this witness to this? And then at the very end, he simply just has blind faith that it's going to work because he has nothing else to go on. He can't even like go to the other side knowing that it worked. We got the baby safe. It's like he doesn't know. Whatever happens.
It's been a while since I've been to Sunday school, but it does feel like a religious maybe allegory a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of Virgin Mary things. I fucking love that line where she says, "What do you mean? I'm a virgin." It's like I love that line so much.
Like if it was about witnessing, I mean, he's kind of a disciple character in a sense, maybe.
Yeah, there's you might have something there. I mean, like he is a storyteller. Isn't that his job? Like he's some kind of journalist?
Yeah, he was a journalist. He works he works in a newsroom. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's some kind of journalist, and he becomes this like chronicler. He becomes this like you said, disciple. Just follows this Virgin Mary.
Follows that blind faith you were talking about, right? And
yeah.
And then he's trying to save her. You know, Judas was the guy who had to lie, and he got.
Now Judas straight up betrayed Jesus, but there's another guy that like lied, just had to save his own skin, but I can't remember who that was. John, maybe John. I really like the notion of like he has to see these things. Like when I was thinking about like, does he really have to see his dad die? Does he really have to stop the car, leave, go over the cliff, and watch his dad die?
Was Jasper?
Wasn't that his dad? Yeah.
Well, I think
Isn't Jasper his dad?
Well, I don't think you're. Maybe a surrogate dad, kind of. You know, like
maybe I can't remember now. But Jasper, Michael Caine, does he have to go over the cliff? Does he have to stop the car? Does he have to like look and watch his dad die? According to the rules of this movie, yes. He needs to see these things happen. He needs to see them all and confirm that they happen. And the only thing that he can't confirm is the most unbelievable thing, which is a ship just coming out of nowhere, literally Deus Ex Machina, and just saving the day.
Yeah. Well, if he's a journalist, maybe he's supposed to witness it because he's going to be the guy that goes back and documents this like the Bible.
But he dies. Interesting ending, for that matter.
Yeah.
I want to touch on a couple things here, and this might not make it in the review, but that's okay. Yeah, I think you're onto something there, Luca, with him witnessing all this stuff, but I think that's fucking bullshit. Like, okay, these motherfuckers are gonna try to kill, like, you got the goods, it's time to get the fuck out of Dodge. And that was a waste. That was a waste of time. We didn't need to see him get shot. We didn't need to see him say, "Oh, pull my finger, pull my finger." We didn't need to see that. You know what would have been better? It would have been better if he was speeding away and he heard bang, bang, bang. And then he knows. He knows he's dead. We didn't need to stop and see that. He's on a fucking escape mission. All right? These badass motherfuckers found them in his top secret lair of his...
Not fully explained, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Tracking in the automobile, right? They stole their car, so they know where it is. They got the GPS going on.
Yeah.
Where's my car, dude? It's the app, right? But so that really bugged me. I hated that scene. I was like, this is bullshit. Fucking cut. Just shoot the motherfucker. Let's hear the sound effect and go.
Yeah.
It does kind of break the somewhat brutal realism of it all, that like it's like nah, he would just go. But according to the rules of this movie that they established, I feel like he needed to see it.
Do you know?
Yeah, well, fair enough. But sorry, one more thing. And the other thing, I'm probably just peaking my audio here. I'm getting so riled up. The other thing was like, you're talking about how breaking the rules of the movie. You know, there were those rules of the movie. I'm like, they showed all the stuff they didn't need to show, and they didn't show the stuff that I really wanted to see. And that's like, I felt that's what I was so frustrated with it. It's like, they don't tell us details about this, but then they go into details of other things. And like his dad dying, I'm like, or not his dad, that guy, whatever his
Michael
relationship
Caine.
was. Yeah, Michael Caine's character.
Can you tell me one thing that you would have wanted to hear more detail about?
Yes, thank you for asking. So like I think the point in the movie where I actually started to get the most drawn in was when the midwife was talking about how this all started to happen. And that moment, I was like, this is what I want to hear more about this. Like,
Context.
Yeah, some context, but also just like, that was the humanity of it, right? Like, that is the essence of like, okay, people are miscarrying. Oh, people aren't even getting pregnant anymore, let alone miscarrying. They're not even getting pregnant anymore. And I mean, it was that to me, I wanted to know more about the pain and suffering of the lack of possibility for children to be there. I felt like it was so superficial, and with like baby Diego died because, you know, he was 18 years old and he did this stupid stuff and his fan killed him. Like, that was interesting on a sort of pop culture level of the times to kind of set that scene, but I wanted it to go deeper, you know? I wanted to know, like, what are people trying to do to get pregnant now? Like, what are, like, you know, what are people, like, how, you know,
the book more nuanced, Ben? Is the book do that? Is the book do that? Is that, do you know?
I haven't read the book, so I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know.
An hour 40 something minutes, guys. They crammed a lot of info in that short amount of time. But yeah, you might have something. You might have something with that. I feel a little bit hesitant to agree. Again, only because like I really do like movies that leave me in the dark in some ways. But hey, maybe you're right. Maybe this actually would have, like, you know, taken it a little bit further. This movie, by the way, got nominated for quite a few awards. Let's see here.
I have a feeling that book, Ben, would probably really be satisfying in the way that you feel like maybe the film wasn't, because it was written by, you know, I bet you it was nuanced in those ways, for sure.
Well,
Yeah,
it got nominated for Best Writing / Adapted Screenplay. Got nominated for Best Cinematography and Best Editing, which, by the way, Alfonso Cuarón, he was one of the editors on it too. Good for him.
Can I kind of shift things back to the first part of this whole review?
Of course.
Where I was like talking about how it kind of movies reflect kind of the time and vice versa. And Ben, you were talking about how there didn't seem to be like that. What was the child's name again? Who gets, well, like right now, obviously with what's going on in the world, right? We've come to understand that kids are getting affected by COVID, right? It's and I'm going to go there because that's what I started to think about when I watched the movie. I was thinking about the virus aspect. I was thinking about the role of journalism and how journalism is displayed in this film, and then like how this film maybe is. I don't know how it made you feel. Like, how did it make you? Did you guys feel anything? Just feel any similarities between what's going on right now with authority and the institutions and like because this is a disaster film, and I feel like I have felt like I'm in a disaster movie. Not gonna lie.
What's it? I think about the notion of a movie like this, or movies like Contagion, or other Outbreak. Other movies that like showcase a realistic sort of dystopian, bleak future. And I think it doesn't take much to push it over the edge a little bit. Like relating this to COVID, my biggest concern was all of a sudden there was going to be a food shortage because we weren't able to get migrant workers in Canada anymore. And Canada relies on migrant workers a lot in order to harvest food. So all of a sudden there was going to be a food shortage. Okay, so a food shortage, it makes things way more scary. It makes things way more real because all of a sudden it's like, oh, what do you mean I can't feed myself? What do you mean I can't?
Mm-hmm.
People get desperate.
Yeah. And you see that desperateness in the film everywhere. It's scary.
Dude, yeah. It's just like, for me, I like I said, I don't think it takes very much for this to go. No.
Isn't there a saying like everyone's only 3 days away from losing their marbles if they go hungry? Like there's a saying like it only takes about 3 days of starvation to make you do things you would never imagine. It also, Ben, it made me think of your garden. This film made me think of your garden at your house in Ottawa. Like when Luca was talking about that too, and like sustainability and like Jasper's home. Like it made me think of your place.
Cool.
Yeah.
A refuge.
Yeah.
In the city. A refuge in the hood.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Flippity blah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm so disconnected from the COVID thing. I mean, I live in rural BC, and so I didn't really. Yeah, that movie felt way more extreme than what I'm going through right now. That's for sure.
Feels distant. Feels like something like, feels way just that much less believable. But like, man, I tell you guys, on the first couple of days during this whole mess in Ottawa, and like I walked into a Costco, fucking felt like a funeral walking in there. People are like ultra silent, scoping out the aisles for like the last bag of rice or some shit. And like, Jesus Christ, guys, what is happening here?
Empty shell.
I haven't been shopping in so long.
No meat. Like you're seeing things that you see in movies. I saw them. For sure. I felt them for sure. I mean, stuff that it affected me obviously in a very personal way. With my mom's passing, like the not being able to accessibility, you know. And we were one of the first families in Ottawa, I feel like, to really feel my sister Ben is out in Nova Scotia. She's like in a very like there's like 2 clicks between everyone's home, like and there's a sense of safety and there's a sense of like calm and their numbers are good and like they're, you know, like it's still like Canada's trending well. It's trending really well and BC's doing good, you know. But those epicenters are yeah. I mean, I had to go to Toronto for a biopsy for Dad for his liver transplant, and I had to stay in a hotel, the Delta Chelsea. That was apocalyptic, man. I was the only one in the hotel.
At least you knew it was clean.
It wasn't.
That fucking sucks. That fucking sucks. Come on, Delta Chelsea. You got one job.
I brought like cleaner. I was like, I washed down the tables and the door handles, and I was like, because I'm a donor, I'm a living donor, right? So I'm like, for me, the virus is like, I feel like I'm in contagion. Seriously, I because it's elevated, because the risk is greater, you know. But it's not to say that. I mean, that it is an edge case. Like, this is an anomaly somewhat, you know, like the fact that, you know, but anyone who's got someone sick in their house.
Craig, is this movie worth your time?
Absolutely.
Ben, is this movie worth your time?
Not going to watch it again. No.
I think this movie is worth anybody's time to watch, even now or when things are hopefully better. Before we sign off, Ben, you got anything going on you want the world to know about?
What, like plug?
Yeah, you got anything to plug?
Plug-a-doodle-doo.
I want people to stay home so I can get back to work at the theater and, you know, light some stuff again.
All right, plug safety. Craig, you got something to plug? I know you got something to plug.
Yeah, I'm working on a documentary called Careocracy. It's which means a government of care, which I don't think. Well, I'm not going to say too much, but I had a very particular experience with my mom's health journey and my dad's health journey, and I managed to document. This was pre-COVID, and during COVID, and still post-COVID, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the healthcare system in Canada, and I have different opinions now. And I have different opinions about our government and its leadership. And I have different opinions about our healthcare leadership. And I plan to show that in a documentary or an investigative series that I'm going to be pitching to hopefully Netflix and Crave and Vice and the like. So I have a trailer coming out soon, actually, and
maybe we should time this for whenever a trailer is out.
Yeah.
We'll time the release of this episode for whenever a trailer is out. Just something else to promote it. Why not?
Sure. So Careocracy, the documentary, that's it.
I'm making a radio play with my brother using D&D. It's called Risky Prospects. And we have a preview online right now. I'm putting a link in there right now, so you can have a listen to it. Well, that's it for Drive Home, Staying Home reviews. I don't know. Let's do this again soon. Let's do this again, and we'll review something.
Happy.
50% less bleak.
Yeah, like Die Hard with Vengeance.
Maybe just do Die Hard. I don't know. Peace out, guys.